Hello and welcome. Today I'd like to talk about a subject which I've been kind of turning over in my mind for a little while now. Here you can see a couple of really beautiful and, as you can tell from comparison with my hand size, quite big crystal balls. And I absolutely adore crystals in all shapes and sizes and forms. For example, crystal balls like these I've used for scrying, and then, for example, I also have these lovely palm stones, which are one of my favourite things for meditating with. They feel really nice in the hand. They're a nice shape to hold while you meditate, and I also really like at the end of my meditation to feel the energy that they've been charged up with by cupping them and placing them against my eyelids, and that's a very good shape for that, as you can imagine. I also have this lovely pentacle etched soapstone box with a whole bunch of crystal spheres in it. And I've used these a lot for chakra meditations as focal points, and also, once again, they're very nice to hold in your hands while meditating. And they're also, I find, very nice for decorating my altar, to change the colours depending on the seasons as the wheel of the year turns. And here's a little amethyst. I've got a few of those, and some sort of clearer quartz and moonstones. But the question that I wanted to raise with this today is of whether or not it's really a positive thing to have crystals or use crystals. And the reason why I ask this is because someone said that when crystals are mined, it's like raping the body of the earth, like raping the goddess. And that really made me stop and think for a while. For example, when people are looking for a wand, they are always recommended to ask the tree and not to break a branch off, but to wait until the tree is willing to drop a branch so that they receive it rather than taking it. And although I don't have a branch, I do have these crystal wands, which are also very good for focusing and directing, and can also be held very nicely for a meditation. But I was thinking, well, what is the equivalent with stones to that idea of not just taking, but asking and receiving? And can we therefore be justified in having stones and crystals in our collection, working with them? Now, what I've come up with is firstly the idea that it would be very positive to use rocks that we can just find naturally, and if you want them to be a little bit more interesting, spiritual, then you can, as this one has been, mark it like with a gold pen. There's an Om sign and some nice words, reminders. So that's one thing that we can do, so that we are only using stones that we find naturally. Another thing is this one has been decorated, so it's varnished in places, and it has this added sort of gravelly effect. And this is very nice, you can feel it while meditating, for example. And it's also quite decorative, but it's all, I believe it's a tumbled stone, but it was, just a found stone rather than a mined stone. And there's also this kind of crystal, which I believe you don't have to sort of rip out because they sort of come in chunks, but I'm not sure about that. So my question really is, what do other people think? Is it all right for us to use crystals? should we be discouraging the practice of crystal mining by finding different options that are perhaps more gentle and loving to the goddess, to this planet Earth? So, I'll be very interested to hear your take on this subject. Blessed be. I just wanted to add a quick addendum that, of course, with stones that we already have, crystals that have already been mined, I don't think that we should throw them out. That would be completely disrespectful. It's more a question of, should we stop buying crystals, and should we perhaps take action to discourage mining? That's my question. Blessed be.